power greater than any Jedi.
You're under arrest, Chancellor.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a movie review for Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now this, by far, is the best prequel movie in Star Wars. The movie did what it needed to do. It did what it should have done in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It should have been the story we've been wanting to see, which is Anakin turning over to the dark side. There wasn't enough in that in the first one. There wasn't no really turning for Anakin besides the fact he was leaving his mom. There was nothing much there. You didn't really get a sense of why he was changing. And, you know, you're expecting a lot more in The Phantom Menace, but we didn't get it. In the second one, we started getting a lot of his more anger issues, his attitude, his little whiny kind of, the things we didn't like, the whininess. Even though when we didn't like it, it's still one of the traits that turned him into Darth Vader overall. So he still does that here and then in this movie, but overall I think Hayden Christensen started getting directed in a better way. He's still, you know, giving off that performance, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as, like, gripping, like, ooh, that was terrible dialogue. It wasn't, like, bad. Alright, Hayden Christensen was alright this movie. This is Darth Vader. This is the one where we get who Darth Vader was in his prime. And, I think they did a good job. I think what this movie did well was, I love the opening. Okay, let's talk about the movie. There's going to be a little bit of spoilers in this movie if you have not seen it, so I'm going to get a little comfortable here. In the opening, you know, you get the opening with the spaceship battles, the lightsaber battles, you get the comedic moments where R2-D2 is shooting droids with oil and lighting them on fire. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in it. And the one thing we had a problem with the second movie was that the fight scene with Count Dooku and Obi-Wan and Anakin was just too quick, and it was too bullshitty. It wasn't a lightsaber fight that really comes to your mind when, oh, that was a pretty good fight. It was not a good fight. It was a terrible, terrible fight. And in this one, we get a pretty good opening fight between Count Dooku, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. And there's going to be some spoilers, so please, if you have not seen the movie, I'm sorry, but I got to talk about it. One of the biggest things that turns Anakin into Darth Vader was doing something he thought he shouldn't have done, but he did anyway, because he enjoyed it, and he found enjoyment out of doing it because he wanted revenge. He decapitates Count Dooku after the fight, and that right there, when they did it too, when he cuts his head off, there's like a moment of silence, like, holy shit. He totally just went beyond what a Jedi is supposed to do, and did his own thing. And yeah, that can turn you into Sith. And they're rescuing Palpatine at this moment, and he's good. You can see a little bit of the Emperor going to him at the scene, and it's pretty damn good. It's a pretty solid scene, actually, compared to what the prequels have gone through. This is you're like, oh, this is a good scene. This is some good directing, and it's powerful. It's powerful. It's a powerful opening. And in the movie, you know, the chemistry, there's actually some decent chemistry between Obi-Wan and Anakin. The chemistry we wanted to see in the beginning, but we didn't get to see it. And here we get a little better chemistry. I think Ewan McGregor's still awesome as Obi-Wan. And what a thrill this movie is. There's a lot of action. There's not as much talking and sitting down. There's a lot more action involved. You got the Jedis who are finally doing stuff. They're going out. They're fighting battles, you know, because the Clone Wars has started. So you have all these battles going on, and don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of talking and sitting around rooms and talking, so don't get me wrong. But it's not as bad as it was in the first and the second one. Like, George Lucas actually looked at some of the reviews and said, maybe we shouldn't do as much dialogue. You get General Grievous in this movie, and General Grievous is the droid commander, the droid leader. He is a badass. I don't know why people don't like him. I always thought he was just a great villain. Actually wanted more of General Grievous, and you don't get him as much in the movie as you do in the animated series, The Clone Wars. So we get, you know, a coughing droid who is a little bit human because he has a human heart in him, and he's pretty badass. When he pulled out those 4 lightsabers the first time, I was in theaters. This was the first Star Wars movie I've seen in theaters, so it holds a special place in my heart. The first time I saw that and Obi-Wan went up against him, I was like, alright, because I was always thinking, they did a double lightsaber with Darth Maul, okay? How are they going to beat that? Holy shit, this guy has 4 arms and he has 4 lightsabers. That's pretty freaking intense. Palpatine manipulating Anakin Skywalker. He is manipulating him from every scene.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
You are going to be... He's going to be a Jedi Master on the Council, and the Council disagrees with that because Palpatine doesn't get to say what they do in the Council. And then Palpatine knew he was going to do that, and he asked Anakin to spy on the Council, and the Council asked Anakin to spy on him, and he knew they were going to do that too. So the plan is all building up to Anakin's manipulation, which is, I trust this guy more than I trust these guys. Obviously this guy's doing the right thing, but these guys aren't. And it's Palpatine's genius way of... This is why I loved George Lucas' directing this movie, because it actually makes sense on how he's manipulating Anakin to do what he's going to do.
I need your help, son. I'm appointing you to be my personal representative on the Jedi Council.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of Master.
What?
The chemistry between the Emperor and Anakin in this movie, I thought was just excellent. That's my personal opinion. I thought it was great. Every time they're in a room together talking, the talking is actually really good and really it drives into Anakin. And when they finally execute Order 66 and all the Jedi they're getting shot down and very powerful stuff. I actually dropped a tear in the theaters when I was watching it. I was like, oh no, Mace Windu. Because I was actually a big fan of Mace Windu. I thought the purple lightsaber was badass when I was younger. I still like him. He's still a good Jedi. He's still a pretty cool Jedi. He's really a dick, though.
Every single Jedi is now an enemy of the Republic.
Comes the Emperor. He gets electrocuted while shocking Mace Windu in a little battle sequence, and he has his face all, damaged. And Anakin is now his apprentice, and we come across Anakin slaughtering children. Oh yeah, he does it. He goes insane. He goes Darth Vader on their asses. He slays them. I was never expecting Darth Vader to get as violent as he was going to get, but this movie got dark, and this is the first PG-13 Star Wars movie I think we've ever seen. So yeah, it had to go dark in some places, and man, that is so dark and it is so powerful. It really is. Well, that happens. Now we have Anakin, who has turned to the dark side, Obi-Wan, who now finds it out, and Yoda, who are the last two Jedis. Of course, they are the last two Jedis remaining, and they need to figure out how to destroy the Sith. So Yoda goes and fights the Emperor, and Obi-Wan goes and fights Anakin. And by following Padme, or sneaking on board with Padme to go find where Anakin is, and when they find him, Anakin throws a hissy fit saying, "You brought him here to kill me," chokes her out. Big lightsaber fight goes. A little bit too long of a fight. Fun to watch, don't get me wrong, but out of what it could have been so much more powerful. In the movie, Anakin becomes Darth Vader. Simple as that. He becomes Darth Vader. Then we get Padme giving birth to Leia and Luke. Obi-Wan's in exile on Tatooine, and Yoda's in exile on Dagobah. And the movie ends. That was Revenge of the Sith. A lot more powerful, don't get me wrong, it's a lot more better when you're actually watching it and not hearing what I have to describe about it. But this is by far the best prequel movie. It stuck with me because I watched it in theaters. It was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters. Not the first movie, but the first one I actually saw on the big screen. And it was powerful, it was fun to me. I was really, and it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. It's not like, it's not like, up there with A New Hope and all that, but it's still... Like, when you asked me which was one of your favorite Star Wars experiences, like, watching, I'll admit that the sequel movies, the original trilogy, was a lot better movie-wise. But for me, Revenge of the Sith holds a place in my heart because it was the first one I saw in theaters. And being a big fan of Star Wars, it was just fun. It was awesome to me. But with all that said, this is a very, very good movie. It still has its problems, like the dialogue at points. It's really bad dialogue at points. I mean... Hated Christian during that fight sequence in the end with Obi-Wan. Oh my goodness, some of the worst dialogue. Oh my goodness. Having said that, there's a lot in this movie that you can really pull out and enjoy, I think. But yeah, for me, I personally... Oh, and the CGI. By far, the CGI and visual effects got way better. They're not going to go out of date anytime soon. That opening sequence in the movie in general blows my mind how great it looked. It felt like I was actually watching a really cool new Star Wars movie from, to fit into the franchise. I was pleased with it, Revenge of the Sith, and I would give Revenge of the Sith an A-. Guys, that's my review for the prequel movies. Let me know down below. How would you grade them? How would you grade them? If I had to grade the prequel movies, I would probably go least to greatest, okay? No. Yeah, least to greatest. Go Attack of the Clones, I thought was not just the worst of the prequels, but by far the worst of the franchise. I enjoy The Phantom Menace. I know it's a guilty pleasure for me. I just have fun with it. And Revenge of the Sith, by far, that's how I would grade them. Let me hear your guys' grades on the prequel movies. And guys, as always, I do appreciate you guys watching. Follow me on MoveHolic.com. Follow me on Twitter. Be friends with me on Facebook. And guys, as always, thanks for watching. And may the Force be with you.
There are stories about what happened.